Let's jump right into this explainer. Imagine waking up one morning to discover a multi-billion-dollar war is being fought literally right inside your television. I mean, the world's biggest corporations have completely turned your living room sofa into this massive, high-stakes battlefield. Now, there are no tanks, no missiles, no actual soldiers involved in this fight, yet the casualties, they're measured in the billions of dollars. Now, you might think the weapons here are, CGI dragons or iconic superheroes, or maybe even strange supernatural things happen in small Midwestern towns. But I've got to ask, what do you think the ultimate weapon really is in this fight? When the dust settles and all these executives are staring at their spreadsheets, what is that one tiny thing that decides absolutely everything? Believe it or not, it's the cancel button. See, in traditional television, they just needed you to tune in once to sell an ad, right? But in this new model, getting you to click subscribe is actually the easy part. Keeping your finger away from that cancel button, well, that is the true billion-dollar challenge that has completely redefined modern entertainment. Because the crucial point here is that nobody wins when you sign up. They only win when you stay. And that single idea changed everything. Let's rewind a bit. Think back a decade or so when television was honestly kind of a hostage situation. If your favorite show aired at 8 p.m. on a Thursday, you were planted on that sofa at 7:55. Miss it? Too bad. You're waiting for the summer reruns. But then, a tech company mailing DVDs in little red envelopes accidentally triggered the biggest entertainment war in history. They entirely bypassed Hollywood's gatekeepers and completely rewrote the rules of access. The initial business dynamic of all this was just fascinating. Traditional studios were carrying all the heavy billion-dollar financial risks of production. Paying the actors, building the massive sets, running the cameras, the whole shebang. Meanwhile, Netflix just swoops in and licenses the greatest content library in history for less than the price of a cinema ticket. Marvel movies, Disney classics, massive sitcoms like The Office. They had it all, and they didn't have to construct a single soundstage to get it. At first, Hollywood executives absolutely loved this easy licensing money. I mean, it felt like free cash. Well, actually, scratch that. It was free cash until a terrifying reality set in. Netflix wasn't just renting content, they were renting audiences. Millions of people were turning on their screens and going straight to the Netflix app before looking at anything else. The middleman was basically stealing the kingdom. And that direct, loyal relationship between viewers and the traditional studios was just evaporating right before their eyes. So the studios finally realized their massive mistake and they retaliated. They pulled their content straight back to their own vaults. Suddenly, beloved sitcoms and huge movies just vanished from Netflix overnight. This forced the streaming giant into a totally brutal, incredibly expensive gamble, outspending the studios to create their own prestige television. They dropped an unprecedented $100 million on a show called House of Cards just to prove a streaming platform could do it. It was a massive risk, but it transformed a tech platform into a full-blown Hollywood heavyweight basically overnight. As the war really escalated, three major factions emerged, and what's fascinating is how each one wielded a totally distinct weapon. Netflix weaponized precise user algorithms and sheer volume, just flooding the battlefield so there was always something new. Then you had Disney+, leveraging deep childhood nostalgia and massive IP, locking down all those superheroes and princesses. And meanwhile, HBO doubled down on its decades-long legacy of prestige, delivering highly curated premium series. So you've got completely different weapons, very different philosophies, but exactly the same goal: winning your living room. But just as those battle lines were drawn, we all started feeling a new phenomenon setting in: subscription fatigue. Consumers just weren't willing to pay for 5, 6, or 7 different services at once just to watch their favorite shows. A massive behavioral shift was happening right under the executives' noses, and they quickly realized they weren't just fighting each other anymore. Viewers had actually engineered a brilliant, highly efficient workaround. It's called the rotation strategy. It goes like this. You subscribe to a service, you binge absolutely everything you want in a weekend, you immediately cancel, and then you repeat the exact same process with a rival platform a few months later. This clever little consumer loophole created a brutal financial cycle that quickly became the streaming industry's ultimate enemy. And this birthed what is arguably the most feared word in modern corporate boardrooms today: churn. That's the percentage of customers who actually leave a service. See, when acquiring a new user costs a massive marketing fortune, keeping them around is absolutely priceless. So the entire industry's strategic focus violently shifted away from just getting new viewers to actively stopping them from leaving. Content might get you through the door, but retention is what actually runs the kingdom. So to fight against your sheer boredom, or multiplayer video games, or heck, even your biological need to sleep, platforms started deploying a new psychological arsenal. They brought back weekly episode releases specifically to kill that binge and cancel cycle. They greenlit endless franchise spin-offs and ever-expanding cinematic universes just to keep you invested for years rather than weekends. Their true goal wasn't just entertainment anymore. It was creating a habit. Because, deeply ingrained habits simply do not cancel subscriptions. This desperate, almost existential need for retention triggered a financial arms race unlike anything Hollywood had seen in its entire 100-year history. This battle was no longer just about television ratings. It was a battle for your time, and these companies were suddenly willing to spend absolutely astronomical premiums to buy it. The survival logic inside these boardrooms was just wild. The thinking was, a hit show easily pays for itself if it stops a million people from hitting that cancel button for the month. This mentality led to funding individual TV shows that cost more than summer blockbuster films. We're talking paying A-list movie star salaries for small screen roles and literally constructing entire massive cities just for a few seasons of content. This spectacle had to keep getting bigger just for them to survive. But, as you might guess, the blank check era couldn't last forever. Wall Street eventually woke up, took a hard look at the balance sheets, and demanded actual sustainable profitability, instead of just limitless subscriber growth. Almost overnight, the endless money printer was unplugged, and all those sprawling growth strategies violently collapsed into defensive survival tactics. And the resulting tactics? They're incredibly ironic. Think about it. Aggressive password sharing crackdowns, relentless price hikes, forcing users into advertising tiers, and bundling rival services together so you won't cancel. It's crazy. Streaming has essentially reconstructed the exact 1990s cable bill it swore to destroy. History definitely has a sense of humor, right? So, with everyone adopting the exact same defensive strategies, cracking down on passwords, and struggling with ballooning budgets, it really begs the question, who is actually winning this ongoing war? Is it Netflix? Disney? HBO? Well, the true victor isn't necessarily the one with the biggest library or even the most current subscribers. The platform that survives is the one that makes itself absolutely impossible to cancel. It's the one people miss the most when it's gone. The winner is the service so deeply wired into your daily routine, your cultural conversations, and your evening downtime that clicking unsubscribe feels like a genuine, painful sacrifice. But here's the thing. Even as the dust barely begins to settle on this current battlefield, the ground is already shifting beneath these companies again. Those multi-billion-dollar wars over licensed sitcoms and CGI dragons, that was really just phase one. The battlefield is preparing to shift once again, entirely away from traditional television. The next season of this war will be fought over immersive virtual worlds and interactive stories that adapt in real time directly to you as an individual viewer. It's a massive technological leap from broadcasting one show to millions of people to generating millions of unique, hyper-personalized realities on the fly. We're talking artificial intelligence, interactive storytelling, the whole 9 yards. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought. As billions continue to be spent in corporate boardrooms, when AI and interactive media fully enter the fray, how will these platforms capture the most valuable currency on Earth? Your time. Because getting you to look at a screen is difficult, but keeping your attention locked in, that is absolutely everything. The next time you hesitate over that cancel button, just remember, you are the prize in a billion-dollar war.